This is Revolution Radio.
They are. And we've already got a whole generation of the homeless people that are
Right.
on drugs that have no idea what's going on in the world because they did
Right.
not, they weren't, it just didn't, it didn't happen for them, okay? They're all in
Right.
their 50s and late 40s, what have you, and they did not grow up with the computer systems. And
Right.
even we have a whole generation of kids right now that are into sports and that type of thing in video games that did not learn the MIT equivalent of computer systems. And trust me, if you don't go to MIT at this point in time as a youth and get that level of education around the computer industry or the AI industry is what it's going to become, then you're never going to have a place here anymore working at anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
It's that simple.
And
I know this. I've seen this coming. I had visions when I was a kid about how this was all going to play out and the robots and all that stuff. And you know, it really freaked me out, to be honest with you, William. As we get closer to it, I'm a little more accepting of it, but I still feel that humans are going to have a rebellion of some point and slow this down. I got a feeling it's going to happen, and that may be the revolution I see coming. I've always seen it. I knew it was going to happen. I thought it was us against each other, but now I'm starting to think it may be us against the AI. Just like in Terminator.
Well, that's not the scenario I see, but
what do you see?
I see why. No, I see AI ultimately liberating and empowering humanity through a crisis. And I see a new beginning or a new high beginning sometime around 2032 when the dust is settled. So it'll be equivalent, like let's say we have a high-intensity World War III scenario conflict, followed by a short but intense deflationary depression, inflation that leads to a crack-up boom to deflation, and then the restructuring commences. So we're talking about sometime between now and 2032, all of that happening, and then AI being part of the reconstruction and new high period that is the beginning of a new period of like a new, how can I say this? It's going to certainly completely revolutionize society where we see the emergence of artificial singularity. The singularity, right? Which leads to medical singularity and other types of singularity.
And at that point, everybody on the planet will be on a more equal playing field monetarily.
Yes. Right, because if we're all trading with a token that is decentralized and is backed by Bitcoin and other various, whatever the AI decides, right, that this, right, has value and it's being, right, and now once you fix the money, you now have an equal playing field. Remember, every kid has an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, all those kids in Africa who don't eat very well have an iPhone. They have Bitcoin. They have AI. You can get ChatGPT right now if you're in Africa and use that and leverage with that. Hey, I want to start a business. Tell me what's the best business based on where I'm at in Africa. And I have a Bitcoin wallet. How can I use that and integrate that to off-platform and on-platform my business? Blah, 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 right? All of that happening right now. So when that gets all the too big to fail systems that are antiquated that were set into place in 1945, which are collapsing through this crisis, you're going to see the whole world now play at a more even playing field. And countries, right, as we understand it, nation states will mean less and less. Like, what's the difference between Florida and Georgia? Right? Not much, right? It used to be a lot. What's going to be the difference, right? Like right now, you go to the Eurozone. What's the difference between Austria and Italy? Nothing, really.
Yeah. That's true.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to see all of that where nation states and certain boundaries that define, right, politics and culture, that's going to become a lot more looser. So this is all going to change. We're going to see such a radical, you got to think about this. Think of the people who were born in the 20s, and if you ask them, what do you think life will be like by 1950, right? And meanwhile, think about that. 1920, only 13% of the population had a phone, a telephone, a car, light bulb, plumbing, right? So let's just say it was
absolutely.
13%. By 1950, 99%, right? We had jets, we had rockets, we had nuclear weapons, we had fighter bombers, we had, right, computers, well, the early version of computers, right?
Those correct,
right?
Yeah.
So the whole world. Now, what if I told you that the rate of change is going to happen even faster? In other words, 100 years from 1900 to 2000, right, will occur within 14 years. So in other words, a rate of change that took 100 years will happen in 14 years from 2023 to
I know. Yeah. I know it's going to happen. I absolutely know that.
Yeah. So I'm all positive.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're positive. Part of me is very sad, too, because I just feel like it may be the right thing to happen, but I also feel like we're going to lose a bit of humanity in the process, I think. Or maybe we're going to find the humanity we had before all of this crazy started with the drug problems, the educational differences between people, right. the black and white problem. I mean, all of this insanity. Maybe maybe AI is going to fix all those.
Well, I don't know if it'll fix everything because, no matter what, you have 12% of humans that outperform no matter what school. I mean, one of the things I learned from Anthony Robbins and all his different immersion programs is he always showed this out, like 12% no matter what. The worst schools from the worst countries, from the worst, most dysfunctional, violent families, they end up becoming billionaires. And then you have people who have all the privileges, all the resources, and they're at the bottom of the heap, right?
Right.
A welfare check
kind of like my story about the kid, the trust fund kids that I worked for, the parents, couldn't even write a check.
Yes, I heard that story, and that's why I'm bringing this up. So you are always going to have, no matter, even with AI, we'll figure out, it doesn't matter what I do, or what I say, or what I do and try to make this better. 12% are going to outperform, 12% are always going to underperform, and everyone's going to be somewhere in the middle. And what it needs to do is figure out a way that works, right, without disrupting the population, humanity, right? So this is part of the problem, right? We have political parties that believe everything can be fixed.
Yeah, well, what if it decides that that 80-some% in the middle, that 76% or whatever it is,
right?
And plus that 12% at the bottom end aren't worth its time here on this planet.
Well, it'll have universal basic income for that 12%, but it'll limit it to that 12%. See, right now, the government wants you to take that. It wants you to take that income so it can control you, it can contain you, it can make sure you vote Biden regardless. I'm being facetious, but you know my point,
but
right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's the reason the AI will know. Well, for this 12%, we're going to have different policies. For this other 12% that are just hitting it out of the ballpark at every level, there's going to be a different set of policies, right? So it's not going to be the one-size-fits-all government, too late and too short, right? It's not going to have that approach. So we're going to have a different world, different governance, different system, and we're going to see how government starting next year, well, let's just say this, the political narrative is not going to be driven anymore by, let's just put it this way. If you're a campaign manager, if you're Donald Trump, who are you going to hire? A guy who understands AI is going to leverage that and integrate that into the campaign and, right, real data, real time, and set up the strategy for today and where we're going and what we're doing and how we're saying it. And I'll write the speech for you that's designed for people in this part of California, although he'll never come to California because he knows he's going to lose that state no matter what. But the point is, or are you going to get an old-timer who won 2 campaigns in a row, right? No, it's over. AI is going to drive this election. It's going to drive the issues. It's going to say, no. People here want to hear these issues, Donald, not these issues. Okay, you want to win this district? Then go out there and say that. So this is what's going to start happening. It's just like as soon as you figure out, wow, I can just put my portfolio in here, right, and get informed of my portfolio and then start outperforming my financial advisor who I've been losing money with every year, even though he tells me to continue to remain patient, you're just at some point, you're just going to never go back. You'll just never go back to the old way. And so what I'm getting at is that things are going to change so fast starting this, this coming spring, right?
Yeah.
In 2024. That's what I'm seeing in the astrology. That's what I'm seeing with the technology. I put this all together, and it's going to be very disruptive, but ultimately it will be empowering.
This is Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.